The surefire way to avoid failure is to never try. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel where we talk all about personal development, self-improvement, self-reflection, basically anything that we need to know in order to level up. So if you're into any of those, consider subscribing so that we can embark on this leveling up journey together. Failure is a part of the process. It is a part of everyone's journey, whether they like to admit it or not. So stop trying to avoid failing or stop fearing it and instead get excited about it because it will equip you with the lessons that you otherwise would have never learned. As I mentioned before, everyone from celebrities to regular people, we've all faced failure. Walt Disney himself was actually fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. And he faced several other business failures, but his resilience and vision is what ultimately led to the creation of Disneyland. Despite being the co-founder of Apple, Steve Jobs got fired from the company in the 1990s.
I was basically fired from Apple when I was 30. And was invited to come back 12 years later. So that was difficult when it happened, but maybe the best thing that ever happened to me.
He actually went on to create Next and Pixar, and then later joined Apple once again and revolutionized the tech industry. So you see, everyone fails. Like, a failure doesn't have to be the end of your journey. Think about the last time that you thought you failed, but life ended up working out for you. For me, it wasn't that long ago. I wanted to pick up lashing. Like, I wanted to be a lash tech because I wanted to get out of my job that I had. I spent close to $2,000 trying to master this skill, and no matter how many hours I spent practicing my sets, I couldn't get better. Like, I just didn't even find it enjoyable. My back was hurting, my eyes felt strained, my fingers would like cramp up, and I spent 4 hours on a single set just to not even like be able to finish it. And I failed at becoming a lash tech, but through that failure, I learned that, hey, I hate lash extensions. How do people lay down for hours at a time? How do lash techs like hurt their wrists, hurt their fingers, hurt their backs? Let me go and create a lash cluster business. And then my business was born, and my business was very successful for some time. I was able to quit my job. I had like a steady stream of income coming in from that business. But if I would have just stopped at the lash tech journey, if I would have just been like, well, I failed at becoming an entrepreneur, I failed at becoming my own boss, like, guess it will never work out for me. That's it. Done. Let me go back to my job. If I would have stopped there and quit, that is when I would have failed. But because I kept going, because I kept trying to look at different outcomes, I ended up finding something that was way better. And that is often what failing is. It is not the end of your journey. It doesn't have to be this huge setback unless you let it. It can be a tool that you can use to help guide you into the right direction. Maybe you were not going towards the right direction. I know I wasn't. Every time I failed, it's because I was doing something wrong. But when I started to use that failure as a guide to help me get better at my journey, that is when things started picking up for me. Failure is a really beautiful thing because it oftentimes forces us to think creatively and critically to find solutions to our problems. And it also does a beautiful thing that I don't see a lot of people talking about, but is such an important skill to acquire, and that is empathy. It helps us develop our empathy because it helps us understand people who are facing the same struggles as us. Think about this perfect world, right? Where you never had any financial problems, you never had any mental hardship. Like, everything was just perfect for you, literally sunshine and rainbows. What type of a person do you think that you'd be? Like, would you be a kind person, an empathetic person? No, you would often look down on the general population and you'd be like, wow, losers, why are you sad? Why are you not rich yet? Like, you're not going to be a good person, but it's because our hardships, it's because our failure teaches us how to empathize with others. And then when we finally get out of the shit that we're in, when we finally feel better, when we don't feel like failures, we're able to spread our kindness to other people who are still, thinking very poorly of themselves, and we're able to help support them. And that is the beauty of empathy. But if you lived a perfect life, if you never failed, never faced any hardship whatsoever, you would lack an empathetic nature that we as humans all need in order to support one another. So let's say, you do feel like a quote unquote failure. You just can't get it out of your mind. Like, I know when I failed at becoming a lash tech, yes, I felt like a failure. I felt like a dumbass for dropping 2K on courses and tools and supplies, and I felt stupid in front of my parents and my friends who I would practice lashing on, because I'm like, damn, they saw me give up. Yes, of course I felt like a failure. But what is it that is going to help us overcome those feelings and help us keep pushing despite us not feeling so great about ourselves? It is our perseverance and our resilience. Understanding that many successes are built not avoidance of failure, but perseverance, pushing through despite failing, despite it being extremely hard, despite it not looking how you once imagined it to look. But you have to understand that, and you have to push through your challenges in order to finally achieve the goals. Maybe it's not going to look exactly how you visualized it. For me, I wanted to quit my job. That was my main goal. And I thought becoming a lash tech was going to help me reach that goal. But it turns out it was starting a lash business, which was completely different, not what I imagined at all. But it ultimately led me to my goal of quitting my job that I hated. So I want to quickly talk about some strategies to help develop your resilience, because it is so important with not even just overcoming this fear of failure or this shame that comes with failure, but it's pivotal to just overcoming any obstacle that life throws your way. Emotional awareness goes a really long way when it comes to building your resilience. Become attuned to your emotions, especially when you experience disappointment. It's so important to just take a moment and really sit with our feelings and understand what it is that we're feeling, because sometimes we can be feeling frustrated, we can be feeling like a failure, we can be feeling like it's the end of the world, when really it's not that. We just think that we're feeling that way, but in reality we're just a little bit sad, a little bit frustrated, a little bit angry, and that's normal. But those feelings are going to be much easier to digest and much less dramatic than feeling like a piece of shit, feeling like a failure, feeling like it's the end of the world. Those feelings are tough. Those feelings are very heavy. And those feelings can create a reality for you that makes you feel hopeless. And once you become aware of your emotions, it's important to pair some coping mechanisms to the situation to manage those overwhelming feelings, because a lot of the times we put ourselves into shitty circumstances because of our emotions. Like, sometimes it isn't as bad as it seems, but we elevate the situation because we start to feel super mad or super angry or super sad or whatever it is. And we dramatically elevate the situation, make it a lot worse than it has to be. So whenever I'm feeling like this influx of emotions, I like to go on a walk. I like to meditate. I like to spend time in nature, just sit by myself in a park, maybe even just journal about your feelings. And these coping strategies can help you out a ton. Something else, like exercises or like vigorous, intense training. But you just have to make sure that you are navigating life with coping mechanisms that you know for sure work for you. Tip number 2 is to develop a growth mindset. Focus on effort and learning, and put value into those things instead of a fixed notion of success. For example, instead of thinking, oh, I failed at blank, think, oh, I learned a lot in this journey. I learned something valuable from this experience. When you start focusing and almost making it your mission to develop yourself as a person, to focus on the growth that you're experiencing, you're going to feel a lot less pressured to make things happen in a certain timeline or make things happen exactly how you imagine them to play out. Tip 3 is to set small, tangible goals. When you make these huge and really cool, really successful goals, it can feel like I really want to do this. I really, like, I'm motivated. I have a plan. I really want to do this amazing thing, and I'm amazing, so I can get it done. And you go in with that mindset, but life is hard sometimes. It really is. And when you get thrown shit that you were not expecting, maybe financial hardships. When I wanted to become like a lash tech, I wanted to practice a lot, but I ended up getting promoted at work and I had to work longer hours at work, and there were a lot of things going on with like my schooling. I had to take extra classes. There were things going on with like my car and like my insurance. Some like a whole mess. And so there was a lot of things that required my time and required my effort. So when I told myself I want to become a lash tech by the end of this year, I think it was like August, that didn't give me a whole lot of time to reach my goal. If I would have just said, hey, like I want to, let's say it was still lashing, let's say I was set that, you know what, I'm gonna make it work, I'm gonna do lashing forever, this is gonna be like my career, I'm going to make it work. If I would have just said, hey, I want to be able to finish one eye and make it good by the end of the year, that would have given me a good 4 months to simply just focus on being able to master lashing a single eye, because I would have broken down that goal of becoming a lash tech into just being able to lash a single eye. It would have been a lot more achievable. Tip number 4 is to celebrate setbacks. And I know it's like, obviously when you feel like you're failing at something, you're not gonna be happy about it. You're not gonna be like, heck yeah, I'm failing, like let's go. I'm not gonna tell you pretend and be happy and put a smile on your face and throw yourself a party every time you fail. But instead, think of the lesson that you are meant to be learning. Be like, okay, I failed at this. Let me think about what went wrong so that I can try again and come at the situation from a more experienced perspective. But give yourself the grace and honestly the universe, because a lot of the times when we start failing, we can put the blame on like the universe or God. Give them that same grace and say, you know what? I know good things are coming. Right now I failed. What can I gain from this experience? What can I learn? How can I maneuver this experience so that it doesn't completely stop me from reaching my goals, so that I don't give up on myself, on whoever else looking out for me? And that's what it is all about. And once you are able to fully embrace failure, you are going to become a better person. After failing at becoming a lash tech, a little bit later, like I kind of failed at my lashing business as well, because you know, like with the rise of TikTok shop, everyone and their moms was getting clusters from TikTok shop for like, I've seen them for like $1. I can sell them for like $1. So they're a little bit more expensive, and I kind of failed at that too. I could have very well just been like, hey, you know what? This is a sign. It's over for me. I'm not going to become an entrepreneur. I'm not going to become a successful business owner. But instead, I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, did I ever really want to become a lash tech? No. Yeah, sit with the client, do their lashes for 3-4 hours. No, I didn't. I just wanted to quit my job. Am I passionate about the beauty industry, like makeup, all of that? No. And so I was like, okay, well, I mean, you didn't really want to do it, right? You just wanted to not have to work at a 9 to 5. What do you really want to do? And that's when I was real about with myself, and I was like, I want to become a YouTuber. The whole reason why I decided to build a business, like, yes, of course, it was because I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to get out of my previous job, but it was also because I thought that I needed to accomplish that in order to finally have something interesting to talk about, in order to like gain an audience. Because if I'm like, how I became a successful business owner at 22, I felt like that was how I was going to make it as a content creator. And when I told myself like, hey, you have shit to offer right now. Like, you can start a channel right now. Maybe you're failing so hard because the universe is telling you to finally go after what you want to be, which is a content creator. I've always dreamt of starting this YouTube channel, of filming my little vlogs, filming my little podcast episodes. That's what I've always wanted to do. And because I failed at the other two things, it kind of gave me the time to finally go after it, be consistent, and push out a lot of videos in a week. And, things are going good. But I had to start being able to embrace failure and be okay with the fact that I failed at something in order to pursue this. Because if I would have just been like, why are you even going to try going after that YouTube channel? You failed at everything else. Like, why do you want to fail again? If I would have had that mindset, then yeah, I would have never started. I would have quit at becoming an entrepreneur or whatever, and that's it. That would have been my story. But because I'm like, you know what? No, maybe this wasn't the right path for me. Let me go and work hard until I find something that actually sticks. And so far, so good. So, I encourage you guys to really don't let failure discourage you, and do not let failure stop you from even going after your dreams. You got this. I believe in you. Keep it pushing, girl. Get back up and keep it pushing. And as long as you make it the norm for you to just, every time you fall, to bring yourself back up and to try to find another outlook, then you will never fail. Because we have our whole lives to figure this shit out. Like, even hearing about the age that people finally make it, like, people work so hard. Maybe, shit happens and they have to take a little bit of a break. Maybe they have kids and they have to take a little bit of a break. But then they try again, and then boom, once they reach 50, oh, they finally make it. So do not give up. You deserve to be able to live your dreams in this lifetime. And as long as you keep it pushing, even after failures, you will get there. But that was all that I had for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Comment down below your favorite piece of advice that you like to give yourself, or like to motivate yourself to get back on track after you feel like you've been failing. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I post a lot of content like this, motivational content, a lot of just like self-improvement content, and I would love to embark on this journey together. I want to see you grow. I want to see me grow. Let's be accountability partners. Until next time, bye.